fact, it's an old Japanese tradition dating back to 1928. Not all Japanese companies do it these days, but many still carry on their tradition. Oh, and the mechanics follow up the morning exercises with chore, a morning company meeting to review with each other what work needs to be done for the day. Erina works for a company called Aiho Denki, an auto repair company employing about 30 staff, mainly mechanics. Like most people, Erina works Monday through Friday, but she's also required to work every other Saturday. When Erina arrives to work every day, she has to stamp an attendance book. Pretty old school, right? I think the mechanics are still discussing today's tasks. So, how do you start your day? Many smaller Japanese companies don't hire daily cleaning services, but instead rely on workers to clean the office. It's supposed to promote selflessness and community. What do you guys think? Nice, now the shop is clean as a carburetor. She can finally get back to her desk and work on accounting tasks. Her Japanese title is Kiri Jimu, which means both office accountant and office administrator. I don't know if this is common in other countries, but let's just say she has a expansive role in the office. Are you usually by yourself in the office? So it looks like one of them is cleaning a different part of the office, and the other one is picking up a mechanic at a customer site. Like I gave her something. What is that? So fax machines are still alive and well in most Japanese companies. In fact, if you ever receive a Japanese business card, you'll notice that most respectable companies still have a fax number listed. Hey, did you notice how she waited a long time to hang up the phone after talking? That's because hanging up the phone before the client is considered immensely rude in Japanese business culture. I guess she's busy doing her morning desk work, so let's go see what's under the hood of this shop. So the weather itself is kind of taking a turn for the worse. It's really raining outside, so I'm just gonna kind of see what they're fixing today. What are you guys fixing right now? Oh, got it. That's a replacement AC evaporator for the car. Can you tell me what this is? That's a replacement AC evaporator for the car. Can you tell me what this is? Oh, basically it says which mechanic has to do what for the day. So if you look right behind me, you'll actually see a little shrine. And you'll find this very common in Japanese houses as well as Japanese businesses. They're known as a sense of good luck for the business. There's actually kind of like a feng shui to it where it always needs to face the same direction. What's actually quite interesting are these magnetic stickers. These stickers are used as indicators for when someone's a new driver. Basically, you attach the magnetic sticker to the front and the back of your car. In fact, in my case, I don't drive so much in Tokyo or in Japan for that matter. So every time I drive, I prefer to actually have one of these stickers on the car. So right now, she's gluing down special receipts called ryōshūshō for record keeping. These official receipts are used to track expenses in Japan, and they're quite magical, as only the total amount of the expenses listed and the individual items disappear. Rina, are you going somewhere? So ordering and picking up bento lunches for everyone is another one of her daily tasks. But damn, it's a pain when it's raining like today, especially for filming. Oh, I guess a quick smoke to help her along to the next task.
Следующее.
It's also part of our job to prepare tea for everyone before lunch, even though everyone can buy their own drinks from a vending machine. See, traditional Japanese business culture is still very apparent in this company, as group needs are placed above the individual. Oh, that's thoughtful of her. Apparently when it's hot outside, she makes barley tea instead. She changes depending on the weather. Instead. Oh. As group needs are placed above the individual. Oh, that's thoughtful of her. Apparently when it's hot outside, she makes barley tea instead. She changes depending on the weather. This is the break room, and she's now setting things up for everyone. How nice of her. So how much is one bento? Wow, about $4.50. She further explains that the company subsidizes the bento, so it only costs 350 yen, about $3.20. Wait, you're not eating with everyone else? Thanks, Arina-san. Thanks, Arina's hard work. The mechanics can have a pleasant lunch break. So the bento menu is always the same? Okay, I guess I'm gonna explore more. At least the rain has let up a little bit. It's still a bit cloudy, but it was a lot better than earlier. Check out this car behind me. It's kind of like a three-wheeled little buggy. It has one wheel in the front and it has two wheels in the back, and it has kind of like a truck bed. And in fact, I've never actually seen one of these in my life. The door opens up from the front right there. You can see that it has even great seats. Oops, I just caught her during her lunchtime nap. Let's turn off the camera and come back a little bit later. After a nice lunch nap, Irina has to clean up the break room. So it looks like we're going on a delivery run to drop off some parts for a customer. Why did you choose this job?
Опять есть хочу. Что такое? Не то чтобы. Наоборот. Ладно, это туфту-то съем. Как туфту? Как будет съедобно или нет? Непонятно. Выяснилось, съедобно или нет. Главное сладкость, а так оно как бенчмарк, бенч эдиды. Эдиды, знаешь, а никто не берет меня, понимаешь?
大好きだ。
What's your favorite car?
日産車のシルビアの S15 って車です。
So they're off delivering the packages right now to the client, and they should be back in a little bit. It took about, I don't know, like maybe 15-20 minutes to drive here. Oh, they're back. That was quick. Delivering packages right now to the client, and they should be back in a little bit. It took about, I don't know, like maybe 15-20 minutes to drive here. Oh, they're back. That was quick. They're finishing the rest of their job this afternoon. It's a bit quiet, so let's play some Inspector Gadget and look around this place. So these two young mechanics are new hires. Let's see what they're up to. Hey, what are you guys doing? So basically they're removing the black glue from the blocks so they can reuse them for insulations. So what's up with this Porsche? Oh, I guess AC repairs are in high demand for the summer. Irina, what are you doing right now? Traditional Japanese companies are still very much paper-based, so Irina has to prepare the monthly payment slips for each employee. Her second smoke break of the day. At least this time she has a break buddy. So he's telling me that his work officially starts at 9 a.m. every day, but he has to arrive even earlier for the exercises and the morning meeting. Damn, it really takes a dedicated mindset to work in a Japanese company. He's telling me that his work officially starts at 9 a.m. every day, but he has to arrive even earlier for the exercises and the morning meeting. Damn, it really takes a dedicated mindset to work in a Japanese company. Exchanging business cards when you first meet someone is still very much an important part of Japanese business culture. The cards, though, start to pile up, so she has to organize them for the CEO. Now she's picking up parts from the storage room for the mechanics. She really does everything in the office. So it's 5:30, and one of her final duties is to empty out the trash bins throughout the office. Oh look, it's a talking anime car. I didn't get a chance to show you guys earlier. What do you think? Alright, end of the day, time to count the money. So Japanese money is made with thick paper, so it allows them to count it like this. It's quite different when compared to America. I wonder if any other countries count it this way. Nice! Finished just after 6. I've noticed more and more companies in Japan adopting standard working hours for their employees. But don't get me wrong, many Japanese companies still have crazy long work hours. It seems like your dog Coco-chan missed her too.
Снова проснулся по привычке, как будто в офис ехать. Да нет.
At the end of the day, her mom usually prepares a meal if she doesn't have plans with her friends. And look, she's serving hamburger tonight. I think it's a great way to end the day. But what did you think about her day? As you can see, right after dinner, they're just hanging out, watching TV, and this is like basically a day in the life working at an auto repair shop. If you guys want to help support the channel, then definitely check out the Tokyo merch. And if you want to see more videos in this day in the life series, then I'm coming up with so much more. So definitely hit that subscribe button and the bell button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Japan, one of the safest countries in the world. In fact, when it comes to crime in 2017, the Japan crime rate hit record lows with a total of 915,000 recorded crimes, when compared to the US with almost triple the population, had a total of 8.9 million recorded crimes. For me, there's no better place to visit or even live, and probably why I've been here for more than 15 years. So if you've never been to Japan, then I definitely recommend visiting once, at least in your life. But before you visit, you might want to know why Japan arrests foreigners. Well, the simple answer is, when many foreigners come over, they simply fail to understand Japanese laws, their severity, and the overall judicial system, until it's too late. And believe me, I've seen and heard enough stories of foreigners getting arrested that I wanted to make this video for you guys, so when you visit Japan, you don't end up arrested. Because the last thing you want to do, especially coming to Japan, is get arrested. I won't be doing this video by myself, but I've actually invited a real Japanese trial lawyer to help answer some of our questions today. And without further ado, let's get this thing started. So Yugo's finally here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Yugo. I'm Yugo Ishibashi. I'm a Japanese lawyer. I like to consider myself as a trial lawyer.
Okay.
And I'm doing a lot of criminal cases. So today I would like to explain you about the Japanese justice system.
So maybe before we start about all of the different situations that foreigners could get themselves arrested for, maybe you can kind of share with me how the justice system overall kind of works here in Japan?
Okay. So if you get arrested, police will get you in custody for 72 hours. And within that 72 hours, they have to decide whether to detain you or not. The prosecutor will file a request, and if the judge approves such request, then you'll get detained for 10 days. And this 10 days, it could be extended for 10 more days. So in total, the detainment will last 23 days. And if you're a foreigner and you don't have a permanent residency, it's likely that you'll get arrested and get detained for 23 days for one crime.
Okay.
Of course, if you have committed another crime, and if they arrest you for that, that will be 46.
So if you say you shoplifted and then you also assaulted someone,
Yes.
23 days each.
Yes. Peculiar thing about the Japanese justice system is, in most of the other countries, you can request for a bail if you get arrested.
Yeah.
So probably in the United States, you will get out of it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Probably. But in Japan, we don't have that system. You only can request a bail after you get indicted. You can see a lawyer, but you cannot get bailed out. You cannot get outside the cell. You have to stay in custody for 23 days. Maybe after 3 days, you can meet your family.
Okay.
50 minutes each day, and if you get indicted, you may get detained for longer, or they release you. If you get arrested for doing shoplifting, for example, or a bar fight, it's a minor crime, but if you're a foreigner, you don't have a permanent residency, there is the risk that you will get detained for 23 days.
So just let me clarify this, okay? If you feel like you've committed a crime, then they'll take you to the police station.
Yes.
They'll hold you for 3 days. They don't have to charge you with a crime.
No.
Basically, they'll just interrogate you for 3
Yes.
days. And within that 3 days, if they don't charge you with a crime, then they have to let you go, right?
Or they ask you for detainment, up to 20 days.
Awesome.
10 days plus 10 days.
What happens if you don't speak the language?
Well, there's an interpreter, but 23 days, I think it's outrageous. Some people lose their jobs, lose their families. What happens during that 23 days,
Yeah.
the police will do some investigation, and you will get interrogated. No emails, no telephone, and although you have the right to remain silent, and the authorities construe that you have to be there when the officer questions you. So that's the difference, because my understanding is other countries, if you have the right to remain silent, you don't have to go through the interrogation. So that's also a big difference. So during the interrogation, you have to be in the room with the officer, and they will throw the questions, and they will put pressure on you. They will say it's better for you to plead guilty, and they are accusing you for a crime, and although you have the right to remain silent, it's really difficult, hard to exercise it right. Also, one more thing. The lawyer is not allowed to be present during the interrogation. In other countries, usually the lawyers are with you, but not in Japan. They don't allow that here in Japan.
Okay.
So a lot of pressure. And that's why a lot of people confess, even confess what's not true, and thus the conviction rate of 99.9%. And this is called hostage justice.
Okay, what's that called in Japanese?
人質司法.
That they basically force a confession.
Yes, because if you, for shoplifting, maybe they would just tell you not to do it anymore, or maybe a fine, but if you plead not guilty, they will keep you for a longer period. After they indict you, you will be detained, and sometimes it could end up a year because they don't bail you out. The judge won't approve it. They want your confession. That's why it's called hostage justice.
You're better off just confessing.
Well, a lot of people will think that way. It's in a way rational.
Well, what about an embassy, for example? Can they do anything for you?
Well, they can come and they can probably give your message to your family, but not much.
Alright, so let me just take a quick break right now and thank our sponsors, Squarespace. Without them, I wouldn't be able to make these videos for you guys. So I've been using Squarespace for the last 7 years to start up all the different businesses I've had. It's just been so easy to get my online presence out there. In fact, when we created Tokyo Zebra, I let Michael, who's never managed or built a website in her life, and it was super easy for her to use. What's really nice is that they have all these different templates, then you can go choose. So if any of you are looking to actually get a website out there or get your online presence out there, you can go to squarespace.com and try it for free. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Paolo from Tokyo and get 10% off your first purchase on your domain or website. It's that easy. Well, let's kind of talk about theft. That's one of the common reasons why foreigners get arrested here in Japan.
Yes.
So someone goes into a shop, they go and take an item, the shopkeeper sees them, they get stopped. What's the process there?
Well, they will call for police. They will take you to a police office nearby, and probably you'll get arrested, detained, and the process I explained to you earlier, the 23 days. And also, if you ask for a lawyer, they usually have interpreter, but there is a language barrier. And usually, if it's a theft and if he's pleading guilty, and if he has a lawyer, we are trying to make a settlement with the victim, trying to compensate. But recently, a lot of stores, those big stores, clothing stores or merchandise, they refuse to settle. The reason for that is because the damage caused by shoplifting, it's a huge amount. They don't want to settle anymore, and they want to be more strict on the punishment.
Что такое шоплифтинг? Что-то воровство это воровство, это непонятно. Ну, прилавку своровал. Или ты используешь предмет, когда, да?
Punishment. Stores, clothing stores, or merchandise, they refuse to settle. The reason for that is because the damage caused by shoplifting, it's a huge amount. They don't want to settle anymore, and they want to be more strict on the punishment.
It's a warning sign to everyone else that's trying to shoplift.
The difference between the Japanese and the foreigners is the foreigners, especially those sightseeing tourists, they don't have a permanent residency. There's a risk of flight if they don't live in Japan. So that gives authority to arrest and to detain them.
Wow.
So it's a funny thing. If you get convicted, for example, you're guilty, but it was a minor offense, so court tells you to pay a fine, but you already spent like a year in jail. Well, the crime you committed was a minor, small crime, but still they will put you in jail a year or two, or even longer.
Until you confess.
Yes. Many times people ask me, should I confess, even I haven't done it? But as a lawyer, it's really hard to say.
There's one thing I wanted to talk about. There was two roommates, and one of the roommates actually got some drugs sent to their apartment. Because both of them are living in the same space, they both got detained or arrested.
I think it's a matter of how strong that evidence is. If there's no evidence, they cannot arrest you, and there's no reason to arrest you. So there must be some kind of evidence. The question is, how strong is that evidence? For example, of what you have told me now, they found drugs where those two people were living, right?
Yeah.
So there is suspicion.
But it was only sent to one person.
The other guy says, right? Of course, if the situation shows, for example, if they go through a computer, you will check your email, and if they find like email exchanges with the other person and the person who sent those drugs, then probably you can say, I didn't do it, and there's no evidence. They will release you, or they will decide not to indict you.
But what happens if you don't give them your password?
Oh, that's interesting. For example, iPhone.
Yeah.
If you don't give them your password,
Yeah.
pass number, they cannot open it. Not even the FBI can open it, I heard. So there are people who refuse to give their password.
So you can do that on the computer as well. You don't have to give them your password.
No.
What about your thumbprint?
You can refuse.
What happens if they force your thumb onto the phone?
They are not allowed to do that. Thumbprint,
Yeah.
or refusing to give your ID or green test, not allowing them to search your bags. You have the right to do that. And if you have a strong will, then probably you can go over that. But it's not easy for, how do I say, regular people.
So let me get this straight. So if someone gets caught with drugs, within those 23 days, if they do confess to that crime, and then once they're indicted, the court process, how long it could take?
Well, if you're pleading guilty, it will be 2 months, 2-3 months.
Okay, so on top of the maybe 3 weeks you've spent, you can spend another 2 months in jail.
Now, if you're in Tokyo, it will be Tokyo Detention Center. Well, you can request a bail.
You can request bail at that time if you're going to
Yes,
get indicted.
if you have somebody who could
Pay for the bail.
pay for the bill, and if you have a friend, somebody who,
Okay, we'll vouch for you.
yes.
So you get 2 to 3 months for the trial. And once that's completed, they sentence you.
You get sentenced for, let's say, half year, 6 months, or a year, with 3 years of probation.
Yeah.
But then there's the visa issue. That's a different matter. The immigration center cancel your visa, and then they will ask you to come to the immigration office, and there you get detained again.
How long usually?
Well, if you can afford your own ticket, then not long. Otherwise, you will have to wait until there's a special airplane for deportation.
That's pretty serious, right?
It's serious, yes. Actually, not the crime itself that is serious. I think it's the system. I've seen people, foreigner, they got arrested for shoplifting, only a rice bowl. For one rice bowl, he was detained for almost a year, and after that, he was deportation.
Do you think marijuana, cocaine is drugs, or is that something that's common for foreigners to get arrested?
Well, not only foreigners, also for Japanese people.
But it is.
It happens often. Theft and drugs, even a bar fight. For example, if you were fighting against a Japanese and the police comes, of course, they will listen to this Japanese guy because they can communicate with this person.
Okay. So you can explain your story, they can explain their story, the police will just probably hear that one side. So what do?
They can arrest you. The same with the drugs.
So if the Japanese person says, oh, he hit me first, he assaulted me, the police can just arrest you.
Yes.
And
But there's also cameras around, so if you could prove that your story is true.
Okay. So if you do get in a fight and you did hit someone first, you're going to go down this path.
There's a possibility.
Yeah.
But of course, it doesn't mean necessarily that you get arrested.
They may let you go.
Yes.
So let's talk about graffiti.
Okay.
I'm in Shibuya, I see it all around. Is it that bad?
Well, you can get arrested
Yeah.
if you get caught doing that, and the same thing can happen. 3 days arrest, and then 20 days of detention. But usually, within that 23 days, and if he's pleading guilty, we will try to contact those owners of the building and negotiate with them and get into a settlement. If that succeeds, they will be released.
But graffiti is pretty serious.
Yes.
It's not just like, oh, I just painted something.
No.
Forgive me.
No. And it's also, I've seen some cases, those people I met were misled by false information. Information says Shibuya is a free city. They are welcome to do graffiti. So graffiti artists, they gather to Shibuya, do their paintings, and the police comes by, friendly hello, and they get arrested.
Oh, really? That's happened?
Because they think they are welcome.
Because you see it everywhere.
Well, theft or graffiti, fighting, drugs.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not drugs, but other things. There are also a crime in other countries, not only Japan.
Yeah.
But what makes it so serious is not the crime itself, it's the system.
If someone does commit one of these crimes here in Japan, what should they do?
What you should do, it really depends on the situation, so I can't really say like you should do this. But you ask the police officer and they have to call for a lawyer.
Okay.
First time it's free.
Is it okay to not say anything?
I tell my clients to remain silent. There's no point in giving information to your opponent, right?
So if you guys have any more questions on this, I'll leave some information in the description of the video. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. So if you guys have any questions about what we discussed today, then leave it in the comment section, and maybe if we get enough comments and interesting questions, then maybe you will join me for another video and we can answer all of those questions.
Сабок Роксбая всего за 2159 рублей.
Ну, хорош! Мастер на все ноги! Покупайте товары российских продавцов на Алиэкспресс.
Ну, наоборот, может, нет. Ну, нет, наоборот, наоборот. Если наоборот, черный такой. Наоборот, не играешь просто, да. Ну ладно. Я бы себя просто все. это значит? Ну и что я сижу на одном месте долго? То есть не переехал давно уже. А, ну вот это она имеет в виду. Ну да. Ну и что это значит-то? Что ты злой, продолжишь злобу, ты просто. Ну давай, ну на сюда, да. Ну да. Вот нет, наоборот, это нет.
Гениальности можно научиться, волшеб.
Надо иметь в виду. Не умеешь петь, просто не играешь ничего, не умеешь играть.